Order. Roll call, please.
Councillor Schoen,
Present.
Councillor Gardner,
Present.
Councillor Tulowitzki,
Present.
Councillor Kulturitis,
Present.
and Council President Leanne Mellon. Is she on Zoom by any chance?
No.
Okay,
She will not be.
very good.
All right. That brings us to a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'd like to thank everybody for attending tonight's meeting. Is our attorney on Zoom?
Yes, yes.
All right. I am. All righty, that brings us to the 45th Street construction update. Lee?
Yes, this is Lee Randall with DLZ. Can you hear me?
I can't hear him. We're working on Lee.
Go ahead, Lee.
Okay, you can hear me? Good. All right, progress updates for 45th Street. Retaining wall construction at that underpass location is ongoing. The underpass top slab was poured the night of August 19th. The bridge railings up on top were poured on the 22nd and 28th of this month. The contractor continues removing forms and shoring, which is ongoing and is expected to be completed later this week. Underground storm sewer installation is ongoing along a section of Old 45th, which was north of CN, the old east leg, as well as 45th there east of Calumet. Waterproofing installation of the exterior walls for the underpass began today. That is expected to be completed this week. Following that will be the underpass top slab waterproofing, also some deck and wall drains, and then backfill in the coming weeks. As far as Calumet Avenue, traffic is restricted to one lane each direction, northbound and southbound. Southbound, there's also a right turn lane at 45th, as well as a northbound left turn at 45th. There has been an added right lane must turn right sign for southbound to westbound traffic on Calumet as requested at the last council meeting. Underground storm sewer installation is complete there in that section. Subgrade treatment, the aggregates below the asphalt paving is ongoing. Curb and drive approaches have begun, and that is expected to continue, as well as traffic signal components there at the intersection. Fiber optic relocation may begin later this week. Sod is continually watered. It's been about a month, so they're probably wrapping that up here in the coming days. They're on the east side of Calumet and the south side of 45th west of Calumet. Asphalt paving for Calumet is expected the week of September 8th after the holiday, and then potentially switch traffic to the outside lanes on Calumet to construct the center median the week of September 21st. So if there are any questions regarding the schedule, I'll be happy to take those at this time. And I also have some cost analysis for the temporary sidewalk resurfacing that was brought up again at the last council meeting. So however you would like to address that at this time.
Sure, go right ahead, Lee.
Okay, so that temporary sidewalk obviously we installed as aggregates just until a permanent sidewalk is put in, which I presume probably by the developer. That was to be constructed by others, not underneath this contract. So screenings were mentioned. I don't know if that's just an aggregate screening that you would be looking to do, maybe just a 1-inch topping on there. I would expect that probably maybe $2,000–3,000. We've looked into temporary asphalt, so just a 2-inch layer there. That would probably be around the neighborhood of $10,000. And then we could also do a temporary concrete, like a 4-inch topping there above the existing aggregates, and that would probably be in the neighborhood of $15,000.
So you're looking at somewhere under $30,000 to put in the temporary.
Yeah, we could do one of those three options,
One of
depending
them,
on what it is you're looking for.
you're giving us three
Yeah,
different.
yeah, we only, correct. Yeah, there's compacted aggregate there now, so we could put like a crushed sand in a way. That would be our aggregate screening. Or 2 inches of asphalt or 4 inches of concrete, like a sidewalk.
All right. Thank you. Any questions for Lee?
You're welcome.
I thank you for those numbers. I think we need to talk to Town Manager Anderson to just the whole overall view of if that temporary bike trail is going to be there for a year or how it should be.
It'll probably be there for quite some time. The developer has no plans that are known to the town to develop that north parcel in the near term. So I can't imagine a scenario where that sidewalk couldn't be in place for more than a year and a half, 2 years. And that's as soon as I could imagine that site being developed. I don't think it'd be that long.
Will the bike trail though transfer over to the overpass over 45th?
Again, that depends on the developer's schedule. The short answer is yes, but I think what you're looking for is a when will that happen? As building G is developed, depending on if they continue to develop towards the lake and the site remains a construction site, then we're not likely to install the bike path because it'll be a construction site. However, if the development moves to the north, perhaps, rather than to the east, because that's a huge site that we have over there, it will be wherever the work isn't. I know that's not the answer you're looking for, but ultimately, when the jobs are complete, you'll have the path that goes along the western edge of the lake, over 45th and along the south edge of the railway tracks, as well as a portion of Calumet that we're talking about right now that is on the east side of Calumet that is currently crushed aggregate that may or may not be, at your discretion, asphalt or concrete for the short term, because when that north site is developed, all that will be torn out and the developer will put in the sidewalk that's agreed upon by the plan commission of the developer.
And the asphalt solution is the mid-price range. Is that expectedly to survive a couple of years?
Yeah, that's a 2-inch topping. So, I mean, just to give you an idea, the bike path portion that is to be constructed under this contract will be 3.5 inches. So it has a binder and a surface.
So the permanent bike path would be 3.5 inches. The temporary one, for the price you quoted us, will be a 2 inch.
Would be 2 inch. There's 6 inches of stone there, obviously, at least. So I would envision that it should survive that duration.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Lee.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, that brings us to the public comment section. And personal public comment is limited to 2 minutes maximum per person and 5 minutes for group spokesman. Please keep your comments civil and constructive to public policy issues. The chair at sole discretion may recognize individuals wishing to speak on different topics at any time and may end the open to the public session. All speakers will be timed by the clerk treasurer. This portion of the meeting should not exceed 20 minutes. Is there anybody that wishes to step up? All right, do we have any electronically?
Yes, Councilman Tulowitzki brought to my attention an email that he received from a resident inquiring about the status of the large stump that is at the corner of White Oak and Fisher, just south of Elliott Elementary School. Apparently, there is some discussion amongst residents about why that is not moved. There are 2 fiber optic cables underneath that stump, and we're having a hard time finding locates. So if we were to rip it out, we'd probably rip out the fiber as well. And if you don't know who owns it or what it serves, you could cause someone some real heartburn. So that's where it stands right now. We're working with known telecommunications companies to get them out and locate those fibers. In the interim, we will have it dressed up a little bit. I've spoken to the park superintendent, so we'll clean it up so it's a little less rough around the edges. And push comes to shove, we can always grind it down a little bit more before we remove it completely at threat of disturbing the fiber.
Thank you for that. That's quick turnaround. That was about an hour and a half, hour ago.
How high is the stone?
It's pretty big. I don't have an exact measurement,
I mean-
Councilman School.
Just enough that if the top were smoothed off, it could actually be a seat.
That was a rather large tree that was uprooted during the June 13th storm.
Then it could be a bench.
It was large tree that was uprooted.
Okay. All right. I will close the public comment session, and that moves us to the consent agenda.
Mr. President, I move that we accept the consent agenda.
Second. Any discussion?
I'm sorry, Ken Schoen, you moved, and who seconded it? Steve, thank you. My apologies.
All right, roll call, please.
Counselor Schoen,
Yes.
Counselor Gardner,
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki,
Yes.
and Counselor Kulturitis?
Yes.
Yes, we have 4-0 yes to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. There is no old business. That moves us to new business. First one is resolution 2072, the excess levy.
I'm gonna pop this over to Tricia.
I don't know if people can hear me, ready to come up. So you may recall that, I can't talk about that. You may recall that over the last couple of months, we have asked you to do some work regarding the 2019 general obligation and park bonds. There had been an error with an amortization schedule, and we came to you and asked you to declare some surplus proceeds and some other things like that. This last step would allow us to ask for a levy appeal to the DLGF, and it's allowed under the law when there is an error made. It would allow us to recoup the money that we would otherwise have gotten this year during property taxes. Requires a resolution be adopted and a petition be filed, and that's what's included in the packet. There's no guarantee that we will be awarded it. We present the facts to the DLGF, they review them, and they decide whether the levy is granted, the excess levy is granted. All the proper forms have been filled out, and it's showing correctly on the advertisement. All the T's have been crossed and the I's dotted. So if the council would like, then we ask that you adopt this resolution.
Thank you, Trish. Do I hear a motion on resolution 2072?
I would move to adopt resolution 2072 as presented, authorizing the town council president to execute the necessary documents to file levy appeal with the Department of Local Government Finance.
Is there a second?
I second that motion.
All right. Any discussion?
The it's $35,000 roughly, $754 total.
That's the total, it's about equal between the general obligation and the
The
park
two
bond.
funds. Where would the money come from?
Property taxes. Normally, the levy would have included those dollars, and we would have captured that through this year's property tax draw. But because of the error, we're now asking to get the money next year, again, through the
so
property tax.
Next year's property tax
Yes.
levy be increased by this amount.
Exactly. Yes.
Thank you.
That's what we're asking.
That was my question.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Counselor Schoen,
Yes.
Counselor Gardner,
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki,
Yes.
and Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes.
4-0 to approve the resolution for the max levy.
That brings us to resolution 2073, ICMA deferred compensation plan.
If you want to, Tricia, if either one of us can, this is an ongoing.
The town offers a deferred compensation plan to the employees. It's kind of like a 401k, only it's the government version of it through ICMA, and they also offer other retirement tools, including a Roth IRA. There's an ability to have sort of a hybrid between the IRA and the deferred compensation program. And in working with ICMA, there's a resolution that would need to be adopted and then a statement of intent that we want to allow this flexibility for the employees to decide. And that's really what this is doing. It's no additional dollars coming out of anybody's pocket. It just gives the employee, depending on their personal tax situation, an option for how they handle it.
And this was driven by a specific employee asking for this. And so if it benefits one, it may benefit one of the other 120 employees as well.
I would move that we adopt resolution 2073 as presented.
Second.
Question?
Just that they're both, I mean, it's, if you want to have a Roth, there are tax benefits to having a Roth. It's a nice addition for no additional cost. Will make at least one employee happy. So I'm appreciative of the motion.
Giving them the option of either one of them is a great idea. So, I agree. All right, roll call.
Counselor Schoen?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Gardner?
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki?
Yes.
And Counselor Kulturitis?
Yes.
4-0 to pass the resolution to offer the 457 IRA through the ICMA.
Thank you. It brings us the Peterson Consulting Letter of Engagement Fixed Asset Reporting.
This is an item that you will see new counselors every year of your tenure. Peterson Consulting assists with our GASB 34 fixed asset reporting compliance. We are exceedingly pleased with the services that they provide us. We work closely with the Treasurer's Office on this, and we are looking to continue to work with Peterson Consulting for this compliance work. So I would love a motion and voice vote to authorize myself or Ms. Oh, it would have to be a roll call since we're on Zoom to authorize this work to be done.
I make a motion that we authorize the town manager to sign the letter of engagement with Peterson Consulting Services for an amount not to exceed $3,800.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Counselor Schoen?
Yes.
Counselor Gardner?
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki?
Yes.
And Counselor Kulturitis?
Yeah.
Or this might be what they have up here.
No.
But I don't, right now, I can't.
We have a 4-0 to engage Peterson for our fixed assets reporting.
Thank you. That brings us to Public Works Purchase Approval 2021 Single Axle Refuse Truck Unit 252.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
Yes. This is the first of two exciting purchases that hopefully you choose to authorize. Pretty straightforward. We need this vehicle. It's in our 5-year capital improvement program. We have the appropriate funds and we have 4 bids and we're recommending the low bid be accepted.
Oh. I would move to approve 2021 single access refuse truck purchase for a net price after trade-ins of $126,556 from Trans Chicago to replace unit 252. And by 2021, I meant 2021.
I second that motion.
All right, any discussion?
What is the truck for?
Garbage. Refuse.
20 yards of garbage, huh?
Yes, sir. We pick up refuse throughout the town. A lot of our canisters that you see along trails and in parks are things that we collect rather than waste management. Waste management is for the residential collection of the town, as well as here at Town Hall and at Centennial Clubhouse and our other main facilities that we have.
Okay.
were we to have had special events, for example, like the 3rd of July, fireworks and the parade, the refuse truck is an essential piece of equipment that allows those parks to bounce back almost immediately for our residents to enjoy.
Thank you, Dustin. Roll call.
Counselor Schoen,
Yes.
Counselor Gardner,
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki,
Yes.
and Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes.
4-0 to purchase a new refuse truck, truck number 2021.
All right, next one, under Public Works, purchase approval 2021 tandem axle dump truck.
Yes.
Unit 362.
Yep, so this is a tandem axle dump body truck. So this is a workhorse down in Public Works. We use it all year. And again, this is an example of we have a truck, we have a CIP. This is in the CIP. We have the funds and we have the bids, and we're recommending you authorize a purchase of the lowest bid.
This is going to replace the truck that we currently have.
Yes, sir.
Do we get any money on it? Or is that a trade-in?
Yes, we do.
Trade-in. There it is.
So I thought I did.
So with the trade-in, we'll receive $27,000 off the net price, gross price.
I would love to move to approve a 2021 tandem axle dump truck with snowplow, pre-wet hydraulics, and a V-box spreader purchase for a net price after trade-ins of $167,555 from Rush Truck Center to replace unit number 362.
I second that motion.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Counselor Schoen,
Yes.
Counselor Gardner,
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki,
Yes.
and Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes,
4-0 to purchase a new dump truck.
thank you. That brings us to South Shore Clean Cities electric vehicle charging station grant.
Yeah, so this is a very, very small amount of money, but it does potentially commit us to spending more money in the future because this is a matching reimbursement grant. So thought I'd run it past you first. It is to look at the feasibility and ultimate install of charging stations here at the municipal complex and perhaps other places that the partners deem to be useful. So I thought I would see if this is something you're interested in as a body before we get too far over our skis, and see if this is something you'd like to explore. It seems rather harmless, certainly from a price point, and I think it would be a very nice amenity for residents who would make use of it.
Where would it be located?
That's to be determined.
Okay.
This is the first
I
step.
mean, would we want to, within, not on the expressway?
Here, it would be on a parking lot that we own and maintain, like, for example, here at Town Hall or perhaps at Centennial Park or something like
Residents
that.
who use it with, like when you get air or gasoline for your car, you put in your.
I suppose an enterprising resident could do that. If you go to Fitness Point, if for rehab or to work out, they have the charging stations there. Other places have them in their place of business. Sometimes you'll see them at large format retail stores, sometimes not. So, you know, as the technology evolves and this is a thing that people find themselves needing, there are different strategies to provide this service. And one of those strategies that NERC is trying to push is having them at municipal complexes. And we thought that that might be on brand. So I'm here before you tonight saying, do you think this is on brand for us? Is this something you want to explore?
This is just exploring.
Yeah, we're going to spend $250 this year and $1,000 next year to be a member of the kind of consortium. And then there's up to $9,000 in play that could be reimbursed.
Okay.
I applaud the effort.
Yeah, so this is, they're gonna come back and then there'd be additional monies somewhere else down the line. That
Yeah.
Put the budget for.
Which is why I thought I'd bring it to you before we
But
get
this
too
is
far
really
over.
the $1,250 for the next 18 months to be a member of this
Mhm.
program.
I would be happy to move to approve the grant development services agreement with Clean Cities Incorporated in the amount of $250 for 2020 and the amount of $1,000 for 2021.
Is there a second?
I second it.
All right, any discussion?
Justin, is this, did I read it right? This would be for 2 stations. Ultimately, that's what we're exploring.
That's what we're exploring. I think it's all very fluid right now.
But this would start us with having the first electronic vehicle charging stations on town of Munster property.
On town of Munster property.
Town of Munster owned property. And if we had, is there any revenue generating capability from having these, or is it the vendor who makes the money out?
I don't know the answer to that question off the top of my head. I can follow up with you.
Well, we're actually just looking into this and we're gonna find that out in the future.
Yes.
Are we gonna apply for the grant on by the September 24th deadline? So we'll officially apply. Okay.
That's why they're hearing it now rather than on the 21st.
I think it could be a good thing to set a precedent, but also if we have in the future electronic vehicles from the town, it can be charged overnight. It's getting infrastructure set up, so these vehicles or whatever. So I'm in favor of this. Thank you for bringing it to us.
Has the town ever worked with South Shore Clean Cities before in any other program?
Not off the top of my head, could I give you an example?
That's fine.
We may have without
Okay.
my,
They're the funding organization for VW is the one that's driving this.
Purdue Northwest?
VW, Volkswagen.
Oh, Volkswagen.
Yes,
Okay.
Volkswagen is giving the money to South Shore and then they're just determining who gets what.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Roll call, please.
Okay. Counselor Schoen,
Yes.
yes. Counselor Gardner,
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki,
Yes.
and Counselor Kulturitis.
Yes.
4-0 to move forward with the grant application and the costs associated with it for an electric charging station.
Thank you. There are no reports. That brings us to portfolio reports. Does anybody have a report they would like to share with?
I have no report.
There's a special meeting.
No report.
No, also no report.
All right.
Slow mo.
Whoa.
Census.
You had the census update.
I'm sorry.
The country is at 64.9%, the state is at 69%. The town of Munster has dropped from our high of 4 and we're number 7 in the state with 83.9%. That little spike, I think, was the result of people going door to door. The good news is we are slightly 0.5% higher than the 2010 response rate, but this is still money on the table and we should be looking for ways to get that money. So there's that. And I also, can I add one more thing?
Absolutely.
Unrelated to the census. Tomorrow I was asked to be on the Town of Munster show on WJOB. It's a great show, so if you have an opportunity, give it a listen. It's on but generally on Tuesday after the council meeting, and it's a little recap of what we did today. So I'm looking forward to that, and I appreciate being asked to do that.
Thank you, Wendy.
Clerk Treasurer Miss, when is the last day to actually complete the census?
Oh, good question, Mr. Tulowitzki. It is September 30th, so the clock is running. So we do need people to get that either via mail or online, and if they have any questions, they can call my office and we can get them an 800 number. They can reach out if they've lost their form or something. We can put them in touch. Or if they're internet savvy, they can look it up online.
Do you have a list of the houses that haven't responded? Or is that only federal property?
I don't know. I don't have a list and I don't know if I don't know if I can access that. You're right. I don't know if it's federal or public information. This would be nice if we could call and say hi.
Okay, well, exactly.
Hi, can I help you?
That's what the federal workers are doing. They're knocking on doors. But, you know, it's nice if somebody from the town or, you know, a neighbor encourages
Phone back.
them. Sure.
Or even we could do a robocall or something to remind people.
Well, you're gonna remind them tomorrow.
I am going to remind them tomorrow to all one listener, my mom.
That's all right. More than that.
That's
Thank you
right.
very much. All
So,
right.
but
Brings us to announcements. All town council meetings will begin at 7 p.m. unless otherwise noted. September 7th, there is no meeting. September 14th, there is no meeting. September 21st, regular town council redevelopment commission meeting. September 20th, there is no meeting. October 5th, regular town council redevelopment commission meeting. October 12th, there is no meeting. That brings us to adjournment.
I move that we adjourn.
For a second.
I second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you for attending. We will go directly into our special redevelopment commission meeting for for August 31st, 2020. Wendy, you noted.
We've got Commissioner Schoon, yes. Commissioner Gardner,
Present.
Commissioner Tulowitzki,
Present.
Commissioner Kulturitis,
Present.
Commissioner Mellon is absent, as is, I do not see Mr. Castro either, so.
That brings us to public comment. Is there anybody that wishes to speak during this meeting? We'll close. Is there anybody electronically? Oh, thank you. I will close that. That brings us down to consent agenda.
I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Schoon,
Yes.
Commissioner Gardner,
Yes.
Commissioner Tulowitzki,
Yes.
and Commissioner Kulturitis.
Yes.
4-0 to accept the consent agenda.
Thank you. There is no business. Under new business, we have resolution 053, pledge resolution refinancing of series 2010 economic development bonds.
Yes, this is related to ordinance 1805 that was passed by council recently. And just like that was a very, very long ordinance that basically said we're allowed to do this. This is a very substantive resolution that says we will continue to take the increment and pay our debt service, which is also our intention. But now you've resolved to say it out loud, so it's real.
Put it on paper now. All right. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
All right, any discussion on this? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Schoon,
Yes.
Commissioner Gardner,
Yes.
Commissioner Tulowitzki,
Yes.
and Commissioner Kulturitis.
Yes.
We are 4-0 to accept the economic development bond refinancing pledge.
Thank you. There are no reports. There are no announcements. This brings us down to adjournment.
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Is there a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting's adjourned. Thank you again for coming tonight. All right, and then we're moving
We're
into.
moving into the
Good to see you, Mike.